Buongiorno from the beautiful city of Milan in the Lombardy region of northern Italy, and where I'm lucky to be today. Today is the 3rd of September 2021, and I am at the beginning of a trip which will last a while here in the country of Italy. I got here by a series of flights from the United States from my home in Florida, and when I purchased the ticket, because of the COVID regulations, I was required to take what was at the time known as a COVID tested flight, which ended, I guess, in sometime in July. I bought the ticket in June. COVID tested flights had to fly through certain gateway cities in the United States and they had to land in certain gateway cities in Italy in order to inform the Italian government of your COVID status. Well, that changed near the end of July, and but the flight didn't change. So as a result, because when I travel from the little place that I live, I have to go to the nearby bigger city and take a flight to Atlanta, which is the hub of Delta Airlines, the airline I mostly fly on. Because when you die, whether you go to heaven or hell, if you live in North Florida, you fly through Atlanta. It's part of the deal. From Atlanta, I had to fly to JFK, which was one of the approved gateway cities for trips, and then on to Milan. The deal was that you had to get COVID tested within a certain amount of time prior to getting on the airplane, prior to arriving in Italy. And then when you got to your departure city, the city that you would embark for Italy from, in my case, New York City, JFK Airport, you had to be COVID tested again. And when you arrived in Italy, you were COVID tested one more time. So 3 COVID tests. Well, in July, they changed that rule, and they said that if you had a CDC vaccination card, that you no longer, and you had both of your vaccines and they were within a certain number of days, et cetera, you could get to Italy without problem. Well, the day before I left, I think August 31st, I left on the 1st and arrived on the 2nd because it was an overnight flight. The day that I left, or the day before I left, because of the ramping up of the Delta variant of the COVID especially in Florida, but in the United States in general, once again, the rules had changed. And this time the European Council, which is kind of the administrative body of the European Union government, put the United States on the naughty list, and they put us on the naughty list along with some other countries, most of which were pretty small countries, and a lot of what people would call third world countries, where the population had not done a good job of keeping the situation under control. So the rules, which went into effect on the 31st of August, and required travelers to Italy specifically, because every European Union country has their own interpretation. The recommendations of the European Council are only that. They're just recommendations, so each country decides on their own how they're going to go ahead and turn those recommendations into rules. Well, the Italians, for their part, decided that they would bring back COVID testing for people flying to Italy from the United States, but only one test, only before you left before you embarked on your flight. So I had to go get a test the day before. Normally, where I live, COVID tests are free, and there's lots of places to get them, but because it was a last-minute test, I had to go to a commercial testing center in order to get the examination that day and get the results that day, and it was quite expensive, $150 for that service, which kind of profiteering as far as I'm concerned. I'm not a big fan of people making profits on on medicine anyway. I think it's anyway. That's enough politics, Dave. Just stop right there. But the other thing you had to carry with you was your vaccination certification from the CDC or wherever you happen to live, and you needed to have that with you. Now, here in Italy, we landed at Milan yesterday morning early, and I want to say that inside of buildings, 100% of people are wearing masks and wearing them correctly. On the streets, maybe 25% of the people are wearing masks, but they're all carrying them, either hanging from one ear, around their neck, under their nose in some cases, below their chins or whatever, and on their sleeves. That's a very popular way to carry a mask outside. But as soon as you go into a building, la mascherine has to be on your face, and everybody is pretty compliant with that. I have not seen any of the folks that like we have in Florida. I know when I left Florida, I went to a grocery store, to a market the day before, and to get a few last minute things for the trip, and to get things to make dinner that evening. And I did see maybe about half of the people not wearing masks, and of those that were wearing masks, about half of them had them, below their nose. So, what can I say? But in Italy, it seems like people are being pretty compliant with the recommendations, and I understand that the last thing I read, maybe 70% of those eligible for vaccination in Italy had become vaccinated. So Italy's not having the same kind of problems that we are in the United States right now. Well, I wanted to say a little bit about the place I'm staying. I'm staying in a 3-star hotel, which is very unusual for me, but something I figured out a long time ago in my travels was when I do a long trip like this, and I'm going to a place that I don't have a house in, don't have friends nearby, I go ahead and book a room close to the means of transport. In this case, from the airport, from Malpensa Airport into the city of Milan, there is a train run by Tren Nord, and I think it was 11 euros to take the train. It's called an express train. It had about between the airport and Milano Centrale, the station here, there were about 8 or 9 stops. So not exactly an express, but and we didn't pass too many stations where it didn't stop. So, but anyway, it's a whole lot better way of getting into the city than taking, say, for example, a taxi cab, which would have been very expensive, or even a bus, which wouldn't have taken you exactly where you needed to go. So the train that took me here was efficient. It wasn't that expensive, and has racks for luggage. It's really made as an airport train and all that. The hotel I'm staying at is within probably 2 blocks of the train station, easy walking distance, and it's the second time I've been at this hotel. And the last time when I was here in Italy, it was I left in March of last year. I left a few days before I had planned to, and I had a reservation at this hotel, but I wasn't able to make it because of having to leave early. Everybody was concerned that the borders would close, that I wouldn't be able to get back to my home and family in Florida. So I left a little early and took a night train from where I was. I ended that last trip in Bologna. I took a night train here to Milano, and I caught a earlier flight, went a whole different direction and everything, but I finally got back to Florida. A very interesting flight, a story for another time, but because of not staying at the hotel, the people at this hotel, it's called the Spice Hotel, and they were very kind and said, when you come back, let us know, and we'll try to, since you weren't able to use your room because not your own fault, we'll try to be nice to you and do something nice to you. And so they did, and it's actually a relatively busy time. There's some exhibitions happening in the city right now, and some about to happen, so people are starting to come in for for different events here in the city, and the rates at the hotel had gone way up from last March, so or a year ago March. So I wrote them before I came and said I'd like to stay at your hotel. Can you do me a deal? And they did. they gave me a great discount. They were very kind to me. I was able to stay here for about 1/4 of the asking rate, which was quite nice. It's a lovely hotel, a small room. It's typical for a single room in a European hotel. And let me give you just a little tour of it as long as we're here. And we'll start at the door. And this is the entranceway from the hallway. As you can see, there's a little clip right here, and in the clip is my room key, which was, I guess, given to the hotel by a taxi company that advertises. And there's a little clip where you put your card once you get in the room. This is common. I've seen this in other hotels in Europe. I don't stay in hotels very often, but this clip is pretty common. What it does is that it does a couple things. One is that it lets the people walking by outside know that the room is occupied, so that the cleaning crew shouldn't come in and try to clean. And the other thing is that it turns on the HVAC unit, which normally is off if no one's in here, to save energy. The room is small, and you can see I'm packed up. I'm leaving in about an hour or so to catch a train. But as you can see, the room is small. It's got a single bed. The bed's, pardon me, I'm just finished packing for my trip, and so things are a little bit discombobulated. It has a giant TV set that has absolutely no connections to the outside world. I have no idea why it's here, but it is. There is one channel on it, which is the hotel information channel. There was nothing on that channel, so who knows. There's a nice table. There's a mini fridge that's stocked with some stuff which I did not partake of because it's usually expensive. There's a typical hotel safe, a little rack for your clothing, and a couple hangers, and a fold-out luggage rack. And then over here in this room, and this is an old building, by the way, but it's been updated, and a nice view out the of the street below, out the window, and this beautiful building across the way. And if you look really closely up here, I don't know if it's going to be visible, but there is a Cinderella statue, and looks like maybe one of the seven dwarfs on the a couple of the dwarfs on the rail of the balcony of the apartment across the way from this hotel. A lovely place. Milan's a lovely town, a little busy for me, but it's okay. The room has, I guess, 3 outlets, and one next to the bed, one below, one over here under the television set at the desk, and then there is one in the bathroom for those people who need to use electric shavers. So anyway, a well-equipped room and a nice place. Well, that's it for me from Milan. I'll be sending these love letters back to friends, family, and interested bystanders on a pretty regular basis while I'm here, I hope. Keeps me out of the bars, keeps me out of trouble. And speaking of bars, I had a lovely aperitivo last night. I had an Aperol Spritz in a bar a few blocks away from this hotel. A nice welcome to Italy event for me. I got to sit out in the street and people watch for a while, which is always fun in Italy. Well, anyway, I'm here. Hope that wherever you are, that life is good for you. I hope that you're taking precautions. You're washing your hands. Remember, for a good amount of time. Do it as often as you can. It'll help keep you safe, not just from this nasty virus, but from other viruses we have, like common colds and the typical flu and all that sort of stuff. Washing your hands is a good thing. I hope that if you're out and about, that you have a mask. I hope that if you are able to, if it meets your religious and health concerns, that you go get a vaccine if you can. I think it's very important. I'm a walking science experiment. I haven't grown a tail or pointy ears or anything like that since I had the vaccine. I've been vaccinated since January, and everything is cool with me. Well, listen, wherever you are, I hope that you're happy. I hope you have a smile on your face. Hope you're kind to your fellow human beings. Smile as much as you can and have a good time. And I'll talk to you later. Ciao.